Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Can you see my screen?
Hari Om. Yeah. Are you feeling better now today?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we get started? Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavid Vishavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samina, you want to start?
Yeah. Om Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Atvaidamritavarshini Bhagavadi Ashtadashatyayini अम्बत्वामनुशन्थदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेक्षिणी नमोऽस्तु देव्यास विशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दाय तभत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्ण प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयः प्रतीभः
Jayashree? Or Anant, yeah, Anant, go ahead.
प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः।
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचारूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वा सर्वपापेभ्यः मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः।
Very good. Thank you. Let's get started here. So, we are seeing, the beautiful qualities of a jnani, a jnani who, Lord Krishna says is very, very dear to me. So, as we said last time, in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, in the Sthita Prajna Lakshana, he talks about that the one who has an absolute conviction that the oneness principle, the oneness principle or Advaitam, Advaita Jnanam, that the one who has that conviction that there is nothing but that oneness everywhere, that highest level of the qualities is where, Lord Krishna is really taking us to. So what was discussed in the second chapter, he's actually doing it. So today, we are going to look at actually the shlokas even in detail, because last time we started with the shlokas 13 to 15, but I thought, as I was really reflecting more and more about the shlokas, it's just so beautiful, because at the end of the day, for all of us, moksha is our highest goal, right? If moksha is the highest goal, jnani is a person who's the closest to reaching that goal. I know we may say we are not near like the jnanis, we have a long ways to go. But I mean, there's no harm. There's no harm in us really propelling ourselves to that level, right? So Krishna really wants to talk about, how that jnani is that highest bhakta. And that kind of a bhakta, how does that person really work in this world? Work in this world of different, when the person is facing various situations, various levels of, various types of people. So how does he face such a person? Does he, such, does that person doesn't have any problems at all? Or, does that person really doesn't face any situations like that? So Krishna really wants to talk about that kind of a bhakta's lakshana. So this session is going to be really very, very reflective. And, it is like, we expect certain qualities from um, ourselves to face situations and objects. And we expect such qualities also from others, don't we? So this is the thing that we are expecting. And the question is, translating this to our own lives, are we really living those kind of qualities? Any thoughts or questions on this before we go directly into those qualities of the devotees?
Hari Om.
Yes, Meena.
So when you say we expect qualities from others, that is where problem arises. That's what I think.
Right. We all think that we are the perfect ones.
Yes,
Like I was
but no one is perfect. And if we expect something, expectation is always leading to disappointments. That's what I
right.
think I feel.
Correct, correct. They're always like, I think I came across this Tamil speaker, Bharati Bhaskar, and she's been writing in this Times of India one quote from, she'll take one of the Tirukurals and beautifully, very simply, she analyzes this. And there is
Yes,
one quote that she
Excellent.
said,
simple English, simple Tamil language. She'll
yeah, are you
She's
reading
really
that? The
good.
Times of India quote that she's doing almost every Saturday it comes in Times of
Okay.
India.
Mm.
So in that, one thing she says, how each one of us, we are walking in this world as if we are the smartest person, you know.
Yes.
She actually talks this in relation to how we get conned easily, how we get fooled easily. And the reason we get fooled is because we think we are too smart and everybody else around me doesn't know what they're doing, but it is the opposite. So yes, so to your point about what kind of qualities are we expecting from others, we are always expecting things from others because we're not looking inwards, right? So
Hari Om.
yes,
When you
Amma.
say from Hari Om, when you say from others, uh, even if they don't sort of have the qualities that we expect, we are now mature enough to understand and forgive and adjust, can't we? That's what I
Yes,
will say,
yes,
without fine.
absolutely. Yes, we should be able to forgive, but Amma, this level of forgiveness is actually, and in this shloka number 13 itself, the word kshami comes, kshami, of course, is
Mhm.
um, forbearance, actually. It's not kshama, it's forbearance or titiksha. So anyway, coming back to your point of we should be able to forgive,
No,
forgiveness is
adjust,
actually
understand their point of view too.
right. Right. Yeah, that is where we need to go. And this Shloka 13 is so powerful. I mean, I was preparing for the talk for today's lecture, starting with actually 15 through 17 shlokas. Said we are done with 13 and 14. But the 13th shloka is the forerunner for all the shlokas I found. So, forgiveness is a very intellectual um, kind of a quality. What I mean by that is, in my mind, I have to have that ability that everybody around me is divine, everybody is just like me. That same likeness of Ishvara is there in everyone. That kind of Advaita Jnanam will come only when I've understood completely this philosophy. And that understanding is in the intellect. And therefore, forgiveness, I feel, is at such a highest level. And it's not easy.
But I also think sometimes
Yes.
if you're going to be
Sunita?
forgiving, I mean, you're even enabling the other person to, be doing all the wrong acts or what. I mean, like, they're not realizing what is going on too, right? So it's a fine line. You can, we can think we're holier than thou and keep saying, oh, we forgive you. But truly, is that what? Like today, I was listening to this Brian Koberger, this guy. I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm sure everybody's heard of him. He
Who is
killed
this?
about
Who is
4
that?
of these
Usha?
students in Idaho, Moscow. And he made a plea agreement so that he won't have the death sentence. And so he's been sentenced for, so which means he's scared of his life. But he didn't even think twice about going and killing 4 of the girls in that apartment.
Yeah, no.
So, and when all of those parents, like most of the family today, they all spoke and everybody was like, they were bashing him. There's only this one person who said, I forgive you. And I was thinking, how is she even forgiving this guy?
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, and then it's so strange that we're talking about forgiveness now today. And it's like, are we
Right.
enabling this guy by saying, oh, we forgive you? And it's
Yeah,
a horrendous
I
act
also
that he has
saw
done.
I
Yeah.
also saw that, Usha. Yes. I mean, that is really strange. I mean, who can forgive a person who killed 3 people, right?
4.
4 people, yeah.
Yeah, he's afraid of his life. So he's taking the plea, this thing that, okay, I'll plead guilty. And so I'll just get life in prison. But
Then
no problem going and killing 4 people.
what
And,
about the life of the 4 people then?
yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, so you're afraid for your life, so you pled guilty to get that plea agreement. So
I don't think
I'm
these
sorry, I
people
cannot
should be
forgive this guy. Or I mean, he's
That's
nothing,
what I
he's no one
said.
to me.
That's
But
what
still,
I mean.
how do you forgive somebody like that?
Yeah, these kind of people nobody can forgive, for sure.
When I say forgive, not forgive in the sense understand their point of view, and you will find that they are not mature enough. That is why they are doing certain things. That is what I meant when I say.
No, I agree. I understand where you're
Yeah,
coming from.
correct.
But this evening I was just mulling over that thing, and I was thinking about it. And so when it came up, I thought, I should just bring it up. I understand from where you're coming, Ma, but that's not why I'm not trying to disregard what you're saying. Yes, but again, at the same time, it's like, are we enabling some other people to be doing what they want to do because this other person, regardless, is going to.
Right. No,
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
anyway.
it is, an extremely, I mean, at the level and this is why this quality, I mean, and we will be actually talking about that one shloka which came earlier, I think it was in 5th chapter. Krishna talks about the 4 kinds of people. So these qualities of this forgiveness is at the highest level. It's at the level of a jnani. So he Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, I think, yeah, Ye Jana Sukrita, the 4 types of people. He talks the person who's a jnani, and then he comes down to one level and 4th. So literally, so forgiveness is at the very, very highest. So it's not, it is definitely a very difficult quality to practice. And which is probably why even in that group of people who you just said, one person said, okay, I'm going to forgive. That is, of course, we don't know what the personality of that person is or anything, but it is one of the most difficult qualities to practice, which in the Vyavaharik world that we're dealing with, sometimes the evolution or this has to happen slowly. So we have to do what we have to do to deal with this guy and, move on, I think. Uh, and it's the whole ecosystem. The jnani lives in an ecosystem where he looks at the world differently. So both have to go together in order for something like this to work. So then, yes, if these 40 qualities are at the jnani level, we have to ask ourselves, right? Um, am I at that level? Is this going to really benefit me? You know, but the thing is, I do think, yes, the benefits are there, because if I don't know the level that I need to reach within myself, I need to also know at that level of a jnani, what are my behavioral characteristics, right? So, what are the behavioral characteristics at different levels? At the jnani level is where this shlokas are all coming to for talking about it. So, Krishna actually talks about that benefits. So, such a person exhibits this kind of a characteristic. That's how, he starts to say. And the minute he says that, it makes us feel good. I think at the heart of hearts, everybody has that goodness, and everybody wants to behave in that way. But unfortunately, each person's baggage, the vasanas or anything that is there, that comes into play and prevents that person from exhibiting that qualities. And this is why we need that knowledge to really get that kind of ignorance or tamas in us. And that is probably the biggest benefit for us. But the second benefit is, it is a kind of a sadhana for us. So that sadhana, by giving that, for example, the quality that we are going to start to talk about, that Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. I know Usha is going to say, yes, how can I have Adveshta towards such a person who has shot, you know, 2 kids, right?
Four.
So 4 kids, wow. Yeah, so how can we have that? But the point about it is that that's where we kind of start as a point, because ultimately, moksha is our goal, but that moksha is not something which I'm going to get to when I die or something, when I give up this body, but it has to happen here. So in order to get to the moksha, I need to know what is it I need to do here in order to get there, right? So moksha is actually a state of mind, and that state of mind is what we are trying to get to. So Krishna makes it very clear that it's a state that it's a promise, it's not something that you're going to get there. Because it's a state of mind, I better get to it in this world itself. And that is the whole point of this 40 qualities he's explaining, all the way from the 13th to almost the last shloka of this here of the verses. It's just very, very beautiful. So this is sort of Krishna, how he's, giving it to us, saying that, if you do this, you will actually, by just knowing what are the qualities, the behavioral characteristics of a jnani, because, we never know who is a jnani, right? I think it was last time we talked about this Nisargdat Maharaj and all that, where this person is selling pan in the one of the most busiest places in Mumbai. How do I know that that person is a jnani? You know, it's only by how he behaves with everybody, right? So that's how he himself was discovered. So this is why from shloka number 13, Advesha Sarvabhutanam, we are actually seeing uh, so many different qualities: Adveshta, Maitra, Karuna, Nirmama, Nirankara, Samadukha, Kshami. So, Usha, I think you really set the stage for this talk here today by saying that, here is this person who's killed 4 people. How do I really practice this freedom from hatred? You know, I mean, Krishna is saying that this person does not hate any being in the world. I mean, freedom from hatred is like one of the most powerful, I would say, is probably the most powerful trait here. How can I be without hating anyone? And so this is actually the sadhana for us, right? Um, the sadhana for us is starting from this guy who has shot these 4 people, who we now have a kind of a feeling of, I mean, hatred is too strong a word here, but at least we are like, how can I ever forgive this person? So using this Advesha Sarvabhutanam, we can actually start a sadhana for us as, let me make a list now. Let me make a list of, who are the people who I hate, you know. And again, the word hatred may not be this, or who I don't want to be in the company or whatever. How far, can I be away from that person? So that distance that I am trying to get away from that person is almost, we can say, is the distance that I am taking myself away from moksha. Okay. So I know sometimes we also say, oh, you know what? I'm really not looking for moksha in this world. I'm actually very happy where I am. I'll worry about moksha in my next life, because in this life, finally, I got to enjoy everything. So why should I ask for moksha, right? So that could be one thing. But the point is, even as we're listening to Bhagavad Gita and everything, that knowledge can automatically propel us towards the highest goal. So for that, the starting point is one of this is I I have to develop that feeling of how I can start to not hate people. And when Shastra says, you should not hate anyone, what happens is our first immediate reaction is we try to justify our own hatred, right? We give a big description of, the person whom we are trying to hate. We say, this person is absolutely, just a scum or whatever, all the negative. And we kind of point out all the things that the person has done, right? And then we try to justify that. But this is again from, almost the seventh, eighth, ninth. We are seeing that, Krishna is saying that ultimately every being, every plant, every human being is nothing but, a form of myself. Every person is that divine form here. So there is really no person who is worthy of my hate, right? There's no impure person. There is no evil character in the person. Every single person, including that shooter, nobody really deserves my hatred. No, because every person is intrinsically divine, intrinsically a saint. Even the worst of this person is actually nothing but a saint, a jnani. So then where is the problem? you know, a person's character actions may be corrupt or anything, but so is the actions then what I should be looking at? So the next question for us is, can I hate the action of the person? So let's forget about the person, right? This is again in many religions also, it is being said, even in Christianity, shoot the message, not the messenger. So, can I really hate the action of the person who's shooting? So, I really cannot, if I cannot hate the person, I will, try to look at can I hate the uh, uh, behavior or that aggression which led to the shooting here? So, Shastra really says that, the wrong action of a person also does not really deserve the hatred. Why is that? Because by hating the behavior, we are not going to change the behavior of the person. Hatred is never really a panacea or a remedy for the misbehavior of the person. Because if by hating the person you can change the character person, then all we can do is just hate. And it's like, I can hate that person. Is that going to change it? No. So no person can be, no action, no character can be changed just by this hatred. Therefore, a person does not deserve the hatred, the behavior doesn't deserve the hatred. And so ultimately, hatred is really a useless tendency. And that not only actually according to all the Bhagavad Gita Upanishad, Purana, so many different texts. Ramayana, in Ramayana, we have so many different examples of how, Rama doesn't, I mean, this month is Ramayana month here, and this everywhere, there's so much amount of chanting of Ramayana going on. So this hatred is totally purposeless. This hatred will damage the mind, in which, our own minds actually. So it will only destroy us. And for that reason, this Shastra says, try to get that freedom from that hatred part of it. Use any kind of methods, whether it is. So what should I really do here? So that is, here I have the shloka from this chapter, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Artha Jignasu. So that is why he's trying to say, try to be the Jnani. Jnani is the greatest bhakta here, because between me and Jnani, there is no distance. So the methods that we could start off with using is, maybe this Samadhana Bheda Danda, right? So first I tried to see for my own self, for this hatred, I can actually start to use Sama, try to be the have that love. And if and through very calm methods, I tried to explain to this person. Now, in this case, the shooter, of course, is at a very different level, and he deserves the danda here. So you start off with the sama, then, try that bheda, samadana, bheda danda, then try to reason it out and everything. Ultimately, of course, our Shastras itself says you have to use the danda. So going back to again the shloka, what you're going back to this incident, we have to use danda, so forgiveness. Yes, when I say I forgive that person, you said among all the people, one person said forgiveness. That forgiveness is in my mind, because I need to purify my mind. But as far as his thing is that he deserves the danda, right? So that is where this Advesha Sarva Bhutanam he's trying to take, and why we need to do this is because I need to reduce that distance between who I am intrinsically and who I think I am. So when I know that I'm intrinsically divine, I need to start practicing those behaviors, and that is that is necessary for me to purify my own self. So for myself, I need to develop that forgiveness in my mind. But as far as what I need to act on, I need to do what I need to do. So Sarva Bhutanam Adveshta. So this is the first Lakshana he starts with. The one who never justifies hatred, because that is the biggest weakness. One who never justifies, because we may disagree with the person's behavior, we may disagree with the action, we may even condemn and criticize their behavior, and we need to take those um, measures to involve even danda, like we said here. Danda, what is danda in our this one? It means the punishment. So all that is allowed, but hatred is never allowed as a method of expressing our disapproval. So from that person's perspective, who the shooters, what he has done is, it is from hatred that he's gone and shot these people. But from our side, we need to have hatred, we need to develop that non-hatred towards everybody. So um, we could not have thought about a better example today to start off this particular session for today. And this Sarva Bhutanam Adveshta, he starts to say that, is the very first highest quality we have to start, very most difficult to practice. But nevertheless, that is, my power has gone here. I hope it comes back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can still hear me. I don't know how long this has been. Let us hope it will come back in a few seconds, actually. Maybe I should put my phones. So any question? Any thoughts on this? Are you still there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Oh my God. This is the first time I think I
Mhm.
didn't have this break here.
Yeah.
Any comment?
I know people make mistakes out there. They don't know what they're doing, like this killer or whatever, and it's hard for us to forgive them, especially if you're personally involved with that person. But to to not get entangled, or so that this doesn't continue to the next life, we need to forgive, learn. I mean, I know it's very hard, but we need to practice forgiveness.
Yeah, so the forgiveness is for ourselves,
Right. Okay.
not for that person. In fact, I mean, in this particular case, um, for what that person has done, if we say that, I forgive you and I'm going to let you loose, we're committing the biggest mistake, right?
Right.
So we need to do what we need to do for that person, but this forgiveness is in our heart towards that person.
Okay.
So this capacity, is to include this Adveshta Sarvabhutanam is for something that I need to bring into my mind as a practice.
Mhm.
Very important to,
Okay.
So in other words, what we're trying to say is, try not to develop that aspect of judging others. So
Mm.
this capacity, this to include everyone, our sarve bhavantu sukhinah.
Mm.
That is, in some ways, it's a prayer which I'm telling myself, where I am praying for the entire world. Um, I do not judge anyone for who they are, but I include them. And that is the kind of, the Nanda Buddhi that we are asking
Mm.
for the God to give to us.
Oh.
So that is why this Sarva Bhutanam Adveshta is the very first one, or towards all beings. So the next one is this Maitra. So among those four people, which Krishna is talking about, Jnani is the one who is a friend for all. Uh, you know, not just close to somebody who I know or in my neighborhood or anything. This one is completely, is everybody's friend here. So there is this one set of, shlokas called Niti Shatakam. There's a poet by name Bhatrahari. He really, Maitra means a friend, right?
Mhm.
So Maitra, friend, he gives a beautiful definition here. Papat nivarayati yojyate guhyam niguhati gunan prakriti karoti apagatam nachahati. Oh, I should have written this in Sanskrit. I myself am struggling here. So sanmitra lakshana idam pravadanti santaha. So this is, he's saying, papat nivarayati. My friend will guide me and direct me if I'm going in a wrong track. So my friend, this person, I call this person as a friend because that person is really interested in guiding me and really in understanding my weakness. I mean, such a beautiful shloka, I think, for what I do in the university too, is, where I do a lot of mentoring. And how you can mentor a person, because you can mentor the person by really understanding, of course, first by having complete love for the person, but more importantly also is trying to uh, guide the person. So a person where who knows my weakness, for example, we are blinded by our own weaknesses, right? um, so a friend is a person who knows my weakness and who's not afraid to tell me what I need to do to change me, So that is who, he says is a friend. And guhyam niguhati. I share some of my most guhyam. Guhya means secret. I share the person with this person, all my secrets. I can share anything. And, we need somebody like that in our lives, right? And so this person is, I can do that. And then gunan prakriti karoti, all my wonderful character gunas, my virtues I share. So no, so with whom I can share these qualities is, and then apagatam nachahati dadati kali. So when the friend is in adversity, I'm there to do this. So that is who he calls is a friend. A friend is a person to whom you go to with everything. A friend is one who understands me completely, to my most worst weakness in me, and a person who's such a person is a friend. So this is a beautiful shloka from this Bhatti Hari's Niti Shatakam. So, in Bhajagovindam, you have this Vaisigateka, Kama Vikara, Shushke Nireka, Kasaraha, Kshine Viteka, Parivara, Nyate Tatveka, Samsaraha. So when I lose my money, all my family people, they slowly can get away, right? Because they are worried that I may ask for a loan. So friend is one really who is there, always there for us. And that is the one that, Bhatri is also saying, Apagatam, Nachahati, which is in crisis, he does not leave you, but he's there to help us. So that's the second uh, quality, which is about Maitra, or of who is really a true friend. And then the third quality which he talks about is Karuna. Karuna means compassion. So when the other person is in distress, you have that compassion to be able to help. And that is actually, today we call this as emotional intelligence, right? That emotional intelligence is having that sensitive mind, the capacity to put myself in the shoes of the other person and really understand the emotions that the other person is going through. So we kind of, we identify ourselves. It's like, when I go for a movie or something, I identify myself with the characters on the screen. And I sometimes may go through a lot of emotions too, right? So Karuna is that level where I put myself completely in the other person's shoes, understand what the person is going through. The next two, which is Nirmamaha, Nirankaraha. This is where I have, Nirmama, saying the minus, this is my phone, this is my pen, this is my, house. That ability to give up any kind of ownership is what is Nirmama. It is really, even to say that this physical body that I have, is only an instrument. Everything part of me is also part of this entire universe, and there is nothing which is mine. So it starts off from me, myself, everything that I think I'm owning here, from that point to everything outside me, my friend, my family, my this, everything is actually part of the entire universe. So that is what he's saying is Nirmamaha. That beautiful Shankaracharya's shloka, na mata, na pita, na bandhu shastra, na shastram, na shishya, na shiksha, na vachyam. I'm not related to anybody. So if I'm not related to anybody, I'm not related to my own body, I'm not related to anybody, then it's very simple. I really have no possessions. And this possession that have been given to me, I'm only renting it at the moment, from the Lord, so that I can just use it and then, clean it up. And when I'm done, it's like, we rent a flat, right? When we rent a flat, we clean up the whole thing, live in it, and then we clean it up and then we give it. So it's only a temporary use. And that, therefore, I once I know this, that whatever I have is only temporary, that they're not meant, it has nothing to do with, that I have nothing to do with it, then I will be, I have much less tension. I don't have to worry about anything. And this next one, which is nirahankaraha. So when I give up that part of it, my ownership and identification, which is this mamakaraha, and nirahankaraha, I also give up this, or I use this identity called nirankaraha, identification, only when I need to use it. Like, for example, this physical body which I have, if I'm going to give up ownership of this one, now the same body, I need to use it for certain purposes, to fulfill a certain role, what I'm doing. For that, I need the identity, right? That identity which can drive this physical body. So, but if I realize that I need that identity only for that purpose, then it's good. I don't need to hold on to this identity of Sunitha all the time. It is only meant for that particular situation. So that is nirahankaraha, where I give up that ownership to the identity also. And this, I think, in again, Bhartrihari in his Niti Shatakam, no, in his Vairagya Shatakam, he writes that, actually that Vairagya Shatakam, it's a thank you note that he says, which a jnani, an enlightened person, gives at the time of his death. So Bhartrihari says that a wise person is one who addresses, like, okay, when he's just about to say die, he actually um, thanks all the five elements, the space, earth, water, fire, um, and air, He says this Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, and Prithvi. He addresses all of them and he says, oh, elements, you have given a portion of yours for building up this body. And this body has got this Akasha, it has got Vayu, and it has got Agni, and it has got Jalam, and it has got Prithvi. And this physical body, which is called Panchabhautikam, I thank you for giving me this body so that I can actually gain this moksha. And now let me leave, So that is what this beautiful shloka is saying, is give me all that. So he addresses all the five elements and says, I've intelligently made use of this body. Now I'm returning this body to you and I'm going to merge with Brahman. So thank you very much. So if a person is like that, you can imagine that person is samadukha sukha, samadukha sukha kshami, right? The one who is equanimous, one who is well poised, everything, because he realizes that whatever his body is going through and everything is something which is from the purva vasanas, which I have to go through it, but that is not who I am. So with that, he leaves the body and just says thank you for renting it, and so that is kind of the highest level of this nirahankara, when you've given up the identification with the physical body, because it's the identification with our physical body is how we even call ourselves a name, That name is for that I plus the body, right? And of course, the mind, intellect, where we're looking at all of them also. It also gives us such a beautiful, I would say, understanding of what the creation is, what is the purpose. All this, it allows us to really appreciate. And that is the whole idea behind this. And therefore, he says in Taittiriya Upanishad, I just brought this quotation also in Taittiriya Upanishad, which is Tasmat Muchyate. So this creation is Sukhritam, which means everything has a purpose, everything is going the way it is supposed to. So when it is going that way, who am I to um, judge anything? Like even this example, what Usha brought out, at the end of the day, yes, the shooter has gone, he has killed all of them. I need to do what I need to do, which is express my opinion on how this person should be dealt with, right? That I need to do. And collectively, if more and more people come together and feel that this is not the right thing, then justice will be done. So, Suhrutam means that at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, everything, there is nothing purposeless. And I need to understand that and live in this world and do what I need to do, but then be able to also accept whatever is happening, because the entire world, whatever is happening is a question of checks and balances. More and more people coming together and practicing love, there is absolutely no doubt that the world will be a better place. So I need to question that aspect of it and I need to do something about it. And that leads to Sukrutam, which is absolutely, there is a purpose. So this is the Kshami that I was talking about, which is in the beginning, Kshami actually means also Titiksha, means one who has got Shama. Shami is one who's got Shama, and the best definition is that is actually is what may for many of us, we are lacking in the sense. It's one of the most difficult virtues because let's face it, today's world is going really, really fast, so fast that now um, earlier, we had our comforts. We were given the comforts of so many different things, right? We had our lawnmowers, our washing machines, everything which took care of everything that I used to do by hand, by physically. Now, our mind is under attack, you know. First of all, of course, the internet made it so easy for us to go for information and everything. And then we had our phones, which allowed us to access that information. But now we have Chat GPT, which is also doing everything that our mind is now doing, right? So the faster the pace of our life, the tougher it is to practice something like Kshama or Titiksha. Because the more and more I'm losing my ability to how I'm facing the world now. Earlier, when incidents were happening, I would kind of know that there is a higher power who's taking care of it and things will be okay. But now I'm losing that ability. Because of things which is happening, this employment of, this violent things here, you know, um, there is, and this is to be expected because we do not have the right understanding of what our shastras is really saying. So it is to be expected that probably the one thing that's going to come out of all this is there's going to be more and more hatred, which will really come out. So the kshami is, we need to practice. So kshami is a person who is trying to actually understand the situation and is postponing this impulsive action to do something, um, and tries to use non-violent methods to live in this world. So that is Kshami, and we need to start to have more and more of this Kshami, that ultimately violent means is not the way that I'm going to get this immediate benefit of what I'm looking for. On the other hand, I have to start working on more and more of the non-violent methods. And this non-violent methods has to actually start at the thought level itself. Um, when we talk about ahimsa, ahimsa is not something where I'm not going to kill the person physically, but I cannot entertain even a, a thought that this person is bad or whatever. So Kshami kind of rounds up where we started with Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, having no hatred towards anybody, to Kshami, where I need to develop extreme level of patience to be able to deal with it, and that extreme patience can happen only when I have when I start to practicing that love for people. So wanted to go over this reflective piece here on the shloka. Any thoughts from your side?
Hari Om.
Yes, Anand.
Yeah. Thanks for the elaborate description. This sloka needs has a lot of details. Or and, similarly in Telugu, there's a poem, and one of the meaning it goes like people, if someone does a favor, then people do the favor, return the favor. So it's not a big thing. And then says if someone does something not good to you, and then in return you do a favor to him, or like even even though he did something not good, still doing something good for him. So that's the kind of a great quality.
Right.
And and one example, in the from Mahabharata, the Pandavas, Dharmaraja, says, we are 100, and we are 5, and Kauravas are 100, right? When we fight internally or we fight with them, but if something external comes, we are 105 together. So that's what Yudhishthira says in Mahabharata.
Wow.
So actually,
Nice.
some Gandharvas actually attack Kauravas in and then actually Pandavas rescue them in one of the episodes. It happens.
Mm.
Just yeah.
Beautiful. I love the way you connected that to both the Telugu verse as well as the Mahabharatam itself.
Right. Thanks. On the lighter side, when we go to a fitness here, like a Planet Fitness is called here, and we see like in a big letters, no judgment zone.
No judgment zone. Okay.
So I was remembering, like what you mentioned.
Uh-huh. But this shloka can be read again and again and again. Um, and each one of these qualities also gives so much amount of um, to really see, are we there? Are we really there? For each one of them, like we talked about for Advaita, if we make a list of all the people whom we don't want in our lives, and then to question what are we trying to do? Am I hating the person? Am I hating the way he behaves? Am I hating the action which the person does? And then to tell that, at the core, even that person is trying to evolve. The very fact we've taken a human birth, we've got the human birth itself is a great thing. And that person also has got a human birth, has also gone through so much amount of previous lives, whatever, and has reached this point. So maybe it is from that point, if we try to think that, okay, I need to forgive that person for that, it's not that I'm forgiving this thing. It is the purity that I'm trying to develop in my own heart by doing this action.
Yeah, the strange thing is, whatever we are talking about, we can do that very easily with our children. At least I can do that with my children, but not with anyone else, I feel sometimes. So, because definitely, we're doing whatever we do, whatever wrong things they do, we're trying to correct them, we're trying to get them back. But we still love them at the end of the day. We still forgive them for whatever they do. But
that's again, Usha, the practical part of that question is, we have developed a bond, right? I mean, let's say even between a mother and a father, the mother starts to develop the bond with the child for, when the child is in the womb, right? The father starts to even accept the child only after the child is born, because the father doesn't have that kind of a connection. So the bond that we have developed with the child over such a long period of time, and making the child that mamakara comes, nirmamo nirahankaraha, that mamatvam is there for us. And because of that mamatvam, I'm able to love my own child. Now, how can I develop that mamatvam with all the beings in the world? Obviously, we can't, we haven't been with that one person for a very long time, or whatever. That person just came to our life, and so we are not able to develop that bond. But if we take it the other way, which is where it's that attached detachment, right? With everybody in the world, then maybe some of these qualities are easier. So I need to first have that kind of an understanding, and that is where the Shastras are coming, is remove that um, dependent attachment, so to speak. Yeah. So I think we should spend a lot more time just thinking about the shloka here and seeing what we can. And of course, I wanted to do a lot of things, but the shloka, when I started reading it, it gave so much of food for thought that I said, okay, we'll take it up. I think we'll stop here, and our next session will be on September 17th, mainly because next week I'll be getting ready to leave for US, and I'll be in US now for a month between August 4th and September 9th. So even if I come back on the 9th, 10th will be a little hard, I think. If I'm able to, I'll try my best for 10th, but I think I'm trying to be realistic and say that we'll meet on the 17th. Okay. But after we start, we'll try to go through the shlokas quickly. Today, I just wanted to spend this time on the very first one, because once we truly understand this first shloka with each one of the values, you will see how the rest of them just flows, Any final thoughts?
So when are you coming to Michigan, Sunitha?
12th. I'll give you a call, Usham. After this,
Okay.
can I call you on the phone?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so wishing you, I will definitely see most of you, I think. I know Anant is not around. Meena, you're in Boston, right?
Yes, Boston. Please come over. Yeah.
No, I don't know if I'll come to Boston but definitely Michigan I'm going, so I'll meet all of you. Auntie, I will contact you as well when I come there, Jayashree. We will
In
see
India.
somehow. Oh no, you're in India. You're
Yes.
in India. And Anant, you're in Connecticut, right?
I'm in New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico. Okay, for some reason I thought it was Connecticut. Sorry. Okay, I'll stop here. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaः, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkam bhaveत्.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadaः Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See you, everyone. Good night.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a safe trip. Yeah.
Hari Om, thank you, Sunita ji. Have a safe trip.